pose. Sink into the pose. Take your knees wide. Get your big toes to touch. And then just bring yourself forward onto your forehead or a block or whatever it is that helps you to reach the floor. Let yourself just sink into the mat. Belly between your legs, forehead to the ground. You're supported, you're safe. Maybe as you sink in, you shift your body from side to side. Maybe your head rolls back and forth, massaging your forehead. And as you come to stillness, just take a moment. Begin to go inside yourself in the present moment. Notice what's there for you today. What sensations do you feel in your body? Greet any thoughts you may be having about your day or about tomorrow and let them float by without engaging with them. Take your attention into the area around your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Now focus the area around your lungs. Feel the air coming in and out of your lungs. Feel the air in the front of your lungs. Feel it in the back of your lungs. Feel your ribs expand with every inhale and contract with every exhale. Now start to deepen your breath. Feel your chest expand with your breath and feel the air fill your back. Next, allow the air to go all the way down into your belly. Fill up your entire torso with breath. Lengthen inhalations and exhalations. Continue breathing deeply, imagining the air filling each area of your body. Oxygenating your entire body. Let go of all the stress and all the holdings in your body and mind. Now bring your breath back to its natural rhythm. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. A new day full of possibilities. Like a gift every morning from God. Each day new and each day different. God is continually making things new, like a reset. Look at nature. A tiny seed turns into a giant tree, but not all at once. It goes through seasons, losing leaves, appearing lifeless, but then sprouting new leaves and new growth the next year. God is always transforming us, renewing our minds, giving us a new start, a new chance. And what seems to be a closed door in our lives can open up to the most amazing new things. And we're transformed. All we have to do is say yes. So let's say yes to God. Yes to the hope that lies before us in every new day and every new possibility. And slowly begin to come forward in your child's pose, coming all the way onto your belly. And as you get to your belly, just turn your head to one side and just relax there for a moment. And I wanted to mention to everyone that this is your class, and anything that I say are merely suggestions. So take what you can do and do it, what feels right and do it, and what you don't want to do, please feel free to go into child's pose at any time, or modify at any time. So now bring your hands right to the outsides of your shoulders. Begin to pull back on your hands isometrically toward your body. And as you do this, begin to lift your head off the ground. Slowly, feeling your shoulder blades pulling together, coming into a tiny cobra. And then exhale, bringing your head down. Let's inhale to another tiny cobra. Just waking up the spine. Exhale down. Let's do one more like that. Inhaling to a little bit bigger cobra. And exhaling down. Take your arms underneath you, coming up onto your arms, your forearms, coming into a Sphinx pose. So in the Sphinx pose, your elbows are directly under your shoulders. Your hands are flat in front of you. Your feet are touching the ground. Imagine your inner thighs are spinning inward so that they're broadening your back. So this is a Sphinx pose. Pulling back on your hands, just as you did in the baby cobra. Using your elbows to really push away the floor. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Now, while we're in this Sphinx pose, I'm going to practice a little bit of pulling your belly button to your spine. And as you do that, your belly will lift off the floor. So really tightening your belly button to the spine will give you more space underneath. And then exhale as you let your belly come back down to the floor. And then bring your belly button to your spine, tightening up your core, and then exhale as it comes down. Let's do one more like that. Belly button to spine, protecting lower back. Exhale down. When we imagine that your legs are spinning inward, it does create more space in your lower back, which helps to protect it. So that's why if you hear me saying, bring your thighs inward, that's what we're talking about. So on your exhale, bring yourself forward, back down to the mat. Take your hands down by your sides, palms facing upward. And on an inhale, we're going to lift your hands and then lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. Coming into locust. And then exhale down. Inhale, lifting hands, lifting head, neck, and shoulders. Exhaling down, keeping the back of your neck straight here. Making it long. Inhale one more time. Exhale, come down. Now bring your hands back to the sides of your shoulders and use them to help you roll over onto your back. All right, good. Once you're here, bring your knees into your chest and just let your legs rock from side to side, massaging your lower spine. And then on your next exhale, we're going to take your left leg long, leaving your right leg tucked in, holding it in. Take a couple breaths here. Breathe in the new, breathe out the old. On your next exhale, let's switch it up. Bring your left knee in, right leg long. Keep that leg that's outstretched, keep that the muscles tight on that leg. So keep pulling your toes, keep the muscles engaged. Breathing in the new, breathing out the old. And then bring your right knee back in to meet your left. Let yourself rock again from side to side. On your exhale, bring your feet down to the mat and take your hands right next to your sides as we set up for a bridge pose. So we're going to tuck our shoulder blades under here. And then on your next inhale, we're going to begin to push into your feet, lifting hips up off the floor, and then rocking back and forth a little to tuck your shoulder blades under, just to open your chest more. And then exhale, allow your hips to come down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. One more time up, exhaling down. And then this time we're going to come up and stay up. So inhaling hips up and hugging your glutes a little bit to help keep you upright. See, the former things have taken place, and new things I declare before they spring into being. I announce them to you. Isaiah 42:9. And on your exhale, allow your hips to come down. Take your feet wide on the mat and just do some windshield wipers with your knees. All right, so we're going to either take knees into chest, begin to roll front to back to come up to a seat, or you can just roll to one side and help yourself up to a comfortable seat. And once you get to the seat, you can put something underneath your hips if that feels good for you. Sit up nice and tall. So your spine is long here, crown of your head is reaching upward. Hands are on your knees. Big breath in. Big breath out. Let's just begin to do some shoulder rolls. Rolling shoulders up toward the ears and down your back. Think about the early disciples after Jesus was crucified. The future had to seem hopeless. Let's turn your shoulders the other direction. That big door slammed shut. Their Savior now in the grave. What next? How could even God help this dire situation? And come to stillness. Take your fingertips to the floor. And then on an inhale, turn your palms to face upward Inhaling up, bring your hands up over your head. Exhale as you bring them down. Inhaling up, looking up. Exhale down, looking down. Let's do one more like this. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Now this time, let's just take your hands onto your knees. And we're gonna do a vagus nerve activation. So what I want you to do is sitting up tall, let your eyes close if you're comfortable with that. And then look over toward the right side. Just take your eyes over to the right as far as they'll go. And then keep them that way and slowly turn your head toward that right side. Now leave your head that way if it feels okay for your neck. Leave yourself looking over your right shoulder until you feel the urge to yawn or sigh. And then once that happens, bring your head back to center. So take your time with that. And once you're back in the center, take your eyes to the left and then slowly turn your head to the left until you feel that urge to sigh or yawn or just a kind of a release. And then bring your head back to center once you're done. All right, let's take your hands out to the sides, fingertips onto the floor. Feel them reaching down, grounding down through your mat. And then on an inhale, turn your left palm and reach upward. And reach up overhead and then slightly over toward the right. Try not to crunch into the right side body. And then on an exhale, bring your hand down. Let's bring your right hand up. Reaching up, reaching up, reaching up. And then exhale, bring it down. Let's do each side again. Up. But in Isaiah 43:19, God says, "See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." After that last time on the right side, bring your fingers down. And then turn your palms facing upward one more time. Inhale, bring them up overhead. And then as you exhale, we're gonna twist toward the right. So bring your right hand behind you. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee. Twisting your shoulders. You can twist your head over your shoulders, looking over your shoulders, if that works for your neck. Inhaling and exhaling. And then on your next exhale, bring your hands up again overhead and exhale toward the left. Right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand behind. Spine is long. Feel the length all the way from the crown of your head to your sits bones. And then inhale your hands up overhead and let them meet overhead. Bring them down in front of your heart. And just notice if there's been any change in how you feel. All right, so let's take any kind of prop that you have under you, out from under you, and we're gonna come into just hug the knees in and do a little core work. So in the core work, we wanna make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, spine is straight here. And we're gonna take hands onto each knee, one onto each knee, and begin to come up onto your toes. And maybe we're gonna start lifting one toe and then the other. But sitting up tall, opening your chest toward toward your knees, toward that side of the mat, I mean. And just keep lifting one foot and then the other, or maybe you're ready to lift both feet. And then maybe you take your hands away and lift your toes. Try to sit up straight. Try to keep your chest open. Try and be upright. Take a break anytime you want. And maybe we're going to take it and take your legs away from your torso. Take your torso away as you start to lean back. And then exhale, bring these back in. Notice the shaking. Inhaling as you straighten. Exhale as you bring yourself back together. And let's try 2 more times. And then bring these chest to knees to chest, maybe forehead to knees. Just roll up in a ball. Think about some changes happening in your life right now. Ask God to guide you through these changes. All right, and when you're ready, bring the bottoms of your feet together. You're going to come into a bound angle. So bottoms of your feet come together, heels come toward your hips, and then your thighs pull toward the floor. Sitting up nice and tall once again. Feel the length in your spine. Breathing in, breathing out. And feel your legs being pulled by gravity and pulling themselves down toward the floor. Can you trust that God's plan is good? Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." When you're ready, take your hands and help your knees back together. And we're going to come all the way over onto hands and knees. So we come in to do some cat-cow stretches. So in cat-cow, you want your hands flat. Hop kind of clawing at the mat to protect your wrists. If you have wrist issues like me, just use fists. That works too. But we're going to come and just begin some cat-cows. So inhaling as you drop your belly, lift your tailbone. Exhaling as you round your spine toward the ceiling, pushing into your hands here, really using strong arms. Inhaling, let your belly drop. Exhaling round. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come back to stillness. And take your right arm and allow it to float up next to your right ear. And take your left foot back behind you onto your toes first to start with. Just stretch your toes as you reach back with your heels. So you feel a line from your fingertips all the way through your heels. So when you're ready, let that back foot come up to the same level as your arm. In this bounce pose. Two more breaths here. And let's bring your right hand down, left knee down, and switch sides. So taking the left arm out in front of you, right toes behind, attached to right leg, of course. And then lift right leg up, flexing that foot, feeling one long line from your fingertips through your heel. And then on your exhale, bring your hand down and your knee down. And let's tuck toes behind you, bring your hips back. A little bit more of a arch stretch here. And then on your exhale, we're going to come into downward dog. So begin to lift your hips up and pedal your feet out. Ears are between your biceps. Pedal one foot and then the other. Your hips are reaching upward. Hands are pushing away the mat. Belly button is toward your spine. And then come to stillness here. Reaching crown of the head toward the mat. And then let's take right leg long behind you. On your next exhale, we're going to bring your knee into your chest as you pull forward, almost like you were going into a plank. So knee will be underneath. Then inhale your leg out, back up. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale out. And then this time we're going to step your foot between your hands and come into a low lunge. So come back onto your back knee. You can put padding under your knee if that feels right for you. If you need that. All right. So here we are in our low lunge. Your knee is directly over your ankle in that front foot. Bring your hands up onto your knee. And then take your arms up overhead. Now tuck your tailbone here to keep from just kind of dumping into your lower back. Tuck your tailbone under just slightly. And see if that makes the stretch on your left thigh feel any more intense. Breathing in, breathing out. And then on your next inhale, bring your right arm in front of you and bring your left arm behind you, coming into a warrior two on our knees. You're going to look over the front fingers. Inhale, arms up, and then exhale, left hand comes down next to the right foot onto the mat. And then we're going to take right arm up, twisting through the ribs and the torso, coming into a twist. And maybe while you're here, you want to roll your wrists while it's up there. Feel that snap, crackle, pop of your wrists. And then bring your hand down. All right, so tuck your toes under in the back as we lift ourselves back up to downward facing dog. This time in your downward dog, let's take your heels to the center, your toes out wide. See how that feels for your downward dog. Might make your heels come to the floor easier or might make it harder. Then come up onto your tiptoes. Let's do the opposite. Take your toes to touch and your heels apart. See how that does. And then bring your feet just parallel as you normally would. Take your left leg long behind you. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, come forward, bring your knee to chest, and then back out. Forward, knee to chest, and reach out, reach back, And this time, look between your hands and bring that foot in between. Bring your knee down to the floor. Taking your hands onto your knee to help yourself up to this low lunge. Let's just take a breath or two here. See how you're feeling. When you're ready, take both arms up overhead and then take your right arm behind you, left arm to the front, coming into warrior two on this side. Looking out over your left fingers. Big breath in, big breath out. Then on your exhale, bring your hands up overhead and then take a breath in. And on your exhale, take the right hand to the floor, left arm goes up overhead, twisting through the torso, through the ribs, coming into that twist. Breathe in the new, breathe out the old. On your next exhale, take your hand down, tuck your toes. Let's come back through downward dog. This time on downward dog, choose your favorite. You like to have your feet, your toes together, your heels together, or just regular. Take a breath in, take breath out. Come to stillness. And look between your hands and step or hop, coming into a forward fold. So forward fold, what we want to do is try and get your hands to the floor. Now maybe if that's not available to you, you bring your block and bring the floor closer to you. The other thing we can do, which we'll do today, is bend your knees. So bend your knees quite a bit here to bring palms flat. And then on your next inhale, let's come to a flat back, but keep those knees bent. Exhale as you fold. This time we're going to come out, bring arms out to the side, and come all the way up, but we're going to come through chair pose. So keep your knees bent, bring hands on either side of your ears. Looking down to make sure you can still see your toes. If you can't, then sit back a little farther. Big breath in, big breath out. And then on your exhale, bring your hands down, straighten your legs, coming into mountain pose. So in mountain pose, roll your shoulders up and down your back, palms face forward. Feet are about hip distance apart. And really pull your toes. So really try to pull at the mat with your toes, just to give your feet some activation. Let's just take a few breaths here. Noticing how we're feeling. Have you noticed God closing some doors in your life? Or have you seen him open some new doors? Can you trust in his plan? On your next exhale, let's bring your arms out to the sides and up, looking up. Exhale, fold forward, swan dive forward. Come to those bent knees one more time. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, bring your arms in front of you as we come up through chair pose again. Keep your knees bent, toes are visible. And big breath in, big breath out. When you're ready, begin to straighten those legs. Coming back up through mountain pose. Just give yourself a little wiggle from side to side. And let go of that holding. Okay. So now we are going to come to sideways stance. So sideways on your mat. Take your feet out to a 45-degree angle. And then bend into your knees. Coming into goddess pose. So coming straight down. Bring your arms up in cactus as we come into this goddess pose. Your tailbone is tucked under just slightly to protect your lower back. Inhale, bring your hands up to touch overhead as you straighten your knees. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Let's do one more like this. Now let your hands come down. Turn your front toes toward the short end of your mat and bump your back foot out, coming into a warrior two. So you want your front foot to bisect your back, and your hips are going to be facing kind of the side of the mat, but toward the front. And then your arms will come out, one in front, one in back. Same height. Flip your palms so that your palms are facing upward. And notice that the shoulder blades on your back. And just carefully turn your palms back over. You want to keep that engagement in your shoulders. All right, so in your warrior two, want your knee open to the pinky side, your front knee. The pinky side of your toe. And then inhale, straighten your leg. Exhale, let's come back to warrior two. Inhaling up, exhaling down. One more. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Now from warrior two, I'm going to bend one elbow. On your inhale, bring your other arm up overhead and bring your elbow to your thigh, or the top of your thigh. And then exhale as you come back to warrior two. Bring your elbow to your thigh and then hand overhead and come back to warrior two. All right. Now we're going to take your back hand and come put it on the back leg. Flip your front palm. Inhale as you reach upward. And then exhale as you come back to warrior two. Inhale, let your hand come down the leg. Come into a back bend. Exhale back to warrior two. Let's do one more. And back to warrior two. Now straighten that front leg. Reach forward, as far forward as you can. And then let your front arm come down in front of your leg, or your right leg. And your left hand comes up overhead, or it can come to your hip, coming into triangle pose. Let's just stop here for a moment. Breathing in, breathing out. All right, next, using that top hand, reach it up to help you come up. Let's come back into warrior two. So we're going to try and put all of that together. So it's going to be one movement, one breath. So we're going to inhale as we come into warrior two. Exhale as we bring elbow to thigh. Inhale as we come back to warrior two. Exhale as we come into peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, straighten that front leg. Inhale, reach toward the front. And exhale, come to triangle. Inhale, bring that arm up. And let your arms come down. All right, good job. Okay, so now we're gonna turn our hips toward the front and come onto that back foot. So we're coming into a lunge, a high lunge, using your left glute here to tightening your left glute so that it helps hold you up. So inhale your arms up overhead, tucking tailbone. And then let's just take your hands overhead and bring them down in front of your heart. Inhale them up. Exhale, come out to the sides and down. Inhaling up, and then exhaling down. Now, hopefully you have blocks nearby, because I didn't tell you to put them nearby. But begin to straighten your front leg, and then hop a little bit closer with your back foot. Reach your 2 blocks, or 1 block if you only got one, or a book, or whatever it's going to be. We're going to put it about a foot in front of that front foot. And we're going to begin bringing our weight forward so that it's on our hands as we lift that back foot. And then lower the back foot. And then bring it in so that it's parallel to the floor. And lower. And maybe here, you want to try taking your hand off the blocks, or maybe both, coming into warrior 3. So you can take them to heart center, or you can take them out front. But practicing warrior 3, keeping your back foot flexed should help. I mean, the leg engaged. When you're ready, bend that front knee. Come back up. And let's go turn toward the wide end of your mat again. Now let's shake your hips side to side. All right. So, bringing arms out to the sides. And then as you exhale, swan dive forward. Feet are parallel with one another at this point. Come into a forward fold. And take your left hand and bring it to the outside of the right foot. Take your right hand to your right hip. And then open toward the right side. Again, spinning through the ribs. Breathing in, breathing out. And then when you're ready, come back to the center. Let's take it to the other side. Right hand comes to the outside of the left foot. And then you can do your version, whether it's on your hip or your hand is upward. You can be looking upward. You can be looking down at your foot. Whatever works for your neck. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, come back to the center. And let's just begin to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Head being the last thing to come up. Roll your shoulders up toward your ears and down your back. All right, now let's take your left toes toward the short end of your mat and the right toes, the right heel spins outward, coming into warrior 2 on this side. Set up those shoulders, make sure that they're hugging down, hugging your back. Breathe in, breathe out. And when you're ready, on your exhale, bend your left elbow and bring it down to your left thigh, taking your right hand over your ear. And then inhale, upward. Exhale, elbow to the thigh. Inhale, exhale. When you come back to center, take a breath in, and on your exhale, let's reach upward and reach down your right leg with your right hand. Coming into that peaceful warrior. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, peaceful. And let's move a couple through this. And when you come back to warrior two, straighten that front leg, reach forward so your hip kind of pops out, and then exhale as you come into triangle pose. Open arms. You're actually going in 5 different directions right now. Big breath in, big breath out. Using that top hand, let's come out of this. And let's move through the whole thing. So inhale, one movement, one breath. Inhale, come to warrior two. Exhale, peaceful. Inhale, warrior two. I messed up. Okay, let's do elbow after that. Elbow. Okay, reach. Inhale, back to warrior two. Let's do one more peaceful, just for fun. Exhale, come back. All right, let's let your hands come down to the sides. Turn onto the back foot. Oh, this time, let's remember to bring your blocks. So bring blocks with you. We're gonna come into that high lunge. Bring arms up next to ears. And then take your hands and interlace them. Let's put them behind your head, opening your elbows outward, and really try to lift on just like the crown, like right where your head meets your neck, right in that area. Just give it a little bit of a lift there, keeping your neck long. A big breath in, big breath out. All right, now take your arms up and then straighten that front leg. Let's come in to that warrior three on this side. So step your blocks forward. Take that back foot up so it's parallel to the mat. Flexed foot, and then down. Lift, and then down. And maybe you practice again with your balance here, trying to let go, trying to take one hand off or the other, whatever works for you. All right, and on your exhale, let's bring that foot back. Rise all the way up to standing. Turn toward the side of your mat one more time. Legs are wide. Let's swan dive forward. And let's take opposite elbows here. Just let yourself hang. Swaying back and forth. Breathing in. Breathing out the old. Okay, so grab one of your blocks. Take your hands to the floor. Bring your feet out at an angle. And begin to come all the way down into garland pose. So in garland pose, you can have one block, you can have 2 blocks, you can have no blocks. But your knees are out wide, your hands are at your heart, with elbows between your knees. So if you want to sit down on the block, that can just assist you. There's no harm in that. You were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. Ephesians 4:22 through 24. Big breath in, sigh it out. All right. So bring your hands down, help yourself off of the block if you're on it. And let's come up to our knees. You're gonna come into puppy pose. So coming up to knees, reach your arms up overhead on either sides of your ears, and then fold forward, keeping your hips over your knees and reaching forward, keeping shoulders tucked into the shoulder, into the socket. Don't overextend here in puppy pose. Your feet are on the mat, tops of your feet. While you're here, just notice what's there for you. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Are there any old habits or situations that you feel called to let go of in order to make room for something new? And when you're ready, come forward onto your knees. And we're going to do a little bit of a moving meditation here with cat-cow. So if you want to just do cat-cow, you're welcome to. Come to hands and knees and do cat-cow. But this is how I do it. I lift my head and tailbone and let the belly drop. On the exhale, I sink my hips back over my heels. And then as I inhale, I pull myself forward with a bit of a cow stretch. And then as I exhale, I round toward the back. Think of ways that you think that God is working in your life. Changes He's wanting you to make. Things that He's doing that you didn't even realize. Then let's just come all the way back to child's pose. Take a moment, kind of reset here. When you're ready, we're going to come into a table and then turn over onto your back. Bringing knees into your chest and rocking side to side. Okay, let feet come to the floor and cross one ankle over the opposite knee. And then pull the knees in toward your chest, taking hands in between the legs for a pigeon stretch. You can use your left, if you have your left foot crossed, you can use your left elbow to push your left leg outward for a deeper stretch. He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down. These words are trustworthy and true. And when you're ready, let's switch legs. So bring your feet down, cross your opposite ankle over your knee, and bring them in toward your chest. And maybe you rock from side to side here. Can you let go of the old, embrace the new, and trust that God's plan is good? When you're ready, you're going to uncross your legs and come into a happy baby. So bring knees into chest and then take them outward so that they're kind of in each armpit. And then take your feet up parallel with the ceiling. So your bottom of your sits bone should be close to the floor here. So if you're grabbing the bottoms of your feet and you're really having to reach, you might want to just grab around your ankles. You want to keep the natural curve of your spine here. And maybe let yourself rock back and forth like this happy baby. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and pleasing and perfect. Romans 12:2. When you're ready, let's take feet to the floor. And maybe you want to do one last stretch before we have our relaxation, maybe a full body stretch. Whatever you feel like your body is calling you for here. Full body stretch or legs up the wall. But eventually meet in your Shavasana, your resting pose. Make yourself comfortable. Relax your mind and body. When you get there, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Put off your old self. Be made new. Remember, the start of something new brings the hope of something great. With God, all things are possible. Begin to deepen your breath. Make small movements to wake up your body. Bring your attention back into this room. Begin to rotate wrists and ankles. Maybe move head from side to side. Maybe bring your knees into your chest, roll over to one side. And when you're ready, use your hands to help yourself up to a comfortable seat or stay where you are. Your choice. And when you're in that comfortable seat, bring your hands in front of your heart. Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, this is the day that you've made. Let us rejoice and be glad. Thank you for this day and our time together tonight. Please be present with each one of us through the rest of the week. Help us recognize your voice, giving us new direction and opportunities. And be with us to help us navigate our daily decisions with your wisdom and strength. Thank you for being our rock, our rudder, and our beacon of light in this world. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.